What's good, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and this is the Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks podcast, where today we're doing a review on Cobra Kai Seasons 1 through 3, the entire series, and I got my co-host, Rebellious D, and Trav with me, the Trash Man. How you fellas doing today?
Bro, I'm glad the Trash Man's catching on, bro. Wait till the shirt drops, bro.
Bye. Hey, when I had Devin over here the other day and he heard me introduce you as the Trash Man, he said, why did you call him that? I said, he calls himself that. That's his nickname, the Trash Man.
Well, technically, my sister and her group of people gave me the nickname Trashy Trav.
Oh, okay. See, I never even...
apparently your boy has a reputation for trashing things.
I mean, that's true. I mean, you do trash a lot of stuff, so it's good that you have a nickname, and I love the Trash Man name. It's like, I feel like if you get a shirt made, it needs to be you in the trash can, like Oscar the Grouch.
Bro, I can't go into details on what the shirt is, but you won't be disappointed.
Here we go. Yeah, but we need a nickname for D, though. I mean, he's Rebellious D, but
bro.
Hey, what our boy Steve say?
Yeah.
He cooks it. The chef. He cooks it in the kitchen.
He cooks it in the kitchen, bro. So
yeah, your boy Sanji. So, like I said, we're reviewing Cobra Kai, the entire series, and before we start, make sure that you like and subscribe and follow the Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks YouTube channel. And let's go ahead and get into today's review. So let's go all the way back to 2015, where Cobra Kai was announced for YouTube Red.
That's right. Now, YouTube Red at the time, bro.
Now, did you guys hear about this series back when it was first announced? Did you guys hop on the YouTube Red bandwagon? Because I mean, like they're still trying to get me to get YouTube Red. Every time I get on YouTube, here's a trial, 3 months.
Well, they changed the name.
What is it now? It's YouTube something.
Yeah, I have their streaming service stuff included in mine now. So yeah, I do actually have whatever it is. I mean,
YouTube
Cobra Kai
Premium
is
what it's called now.
Yeah, Premium. Yep, thanks, Trav. Yeah, that's exactly what it is, and I do have that because I, listen to other podcasters and things like that, and it gives me the option to just, play it nonstop. That way, I could just keep on like trucking along at work and whatnot.
Keep trucking.
I will say that I'm not a fan of some of the YouTube products. Like, I had Google Play on my phone, and Google Play has been around for a long time. And now Google Play is gone, and it's been replaced by YouTube Music.
Yep.
Now on YouTube Music, it carried all of my stuff from Google Play over to it, but I can't search for my actual playlist and my songs. Like, I can find them, but like if I go into the search bar, let's say like I just type in the name of a song, it'll pull up the song on YouTube.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, I already got the song on my phone.
They screwed you.
Yeah. And if you go into the reviews for YouTube Music, like everybody's trashing it. Like they're trashing it harder than trashing stuff. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of YouTube stuff. I mean, hey, they're releasing stuff. I guess it works for some people, but yeah, I'm not a fan of it. But back to Cobra Kai. Like I said, it started on YouTube Red back in the day. I didn't check it out. You guys didn't check it out, but we all knew of it. But we finally checked it out when it was put on Netflix last year. And as soon as I saw it on Netflix, I was hyped because it was something that I had always wanted to watch. It's just I wasn't going to subscribe to YouTube Red to watch it. And I believe I watched it day one when it got put up there. Yep. How about you, Trav?
Same. And I also want to comment too. You complaining about the Google Play and them screwing you over. YouTube also sold the seasons for $30 a pop to people, and they bought it. I know people that spent $60 to buy season 1 and 2, only to then in return have it come on Netflix for free, quote unquote, with their subscription.
Yeah, quote unquote. Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to talk about getting screwed over? I dropped a hot 60 just for everybody else to get it. I'd be a little heated.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's a pretty penny.
But I mean, at least they'll always be able to have that in their collection. I mean, like there's stuff.
Oh no, it was a digital.
that's what I mean. Like, there's stuff that I purchased on the Xbox Marketplace that I still have in my collection, but it's like I'm not gonna go back and watch it. But if I wanted to, I can watch it. Or like I downloaded the entire Supernatural anime series on the Microsoft Xbox Store, and I haven't watched it ever since I finished it.
Now you can watch it on CWC. So
yeah, exactly. It's free.
Yeah, it's
free.
You
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I mean, like that's just how. I mean, look how many video games come out, and people buy them when they first come out, and then it's like a week later they're on sale for $30, and then a year later you can get it on PlayStation Now or Game Pass or whatever for free or at a cheaper price than paying that full amount.
Yeah, I'd be laughing. Dude, I bought the whole entire Kingdom Hearts bundle with 3 included for $30. I laughed all the way to the bank at them people. Dropped a hot $80 when it came out on just the one game.
I don't blame you, man. Sometimes it's better to just wait for stuff instead of just hopping on it because you get all the DLC and whatnot. Now, Cobra Kai Season 1 starts off with Johnny Lawrence. He is, what's the word I'm looking for? He's down on his luck. He has a bad job. It's like things haven't been the same for him since the 80s. It's like in the 80s, this dude was the king of the mountain, and now he's installing TVs on walls and other type of household duties. And
he's a handyman.
He's a handyman. Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's a handyman. And he ends up getting fired from his job because he calls the woman a word that I'm not going to say up here. Yeah, the B word.
Yeah.
The B word.
I'm not going to say the B word, but he called her the B word. He loses his job, and we find him at a local convenience store where he gets pizza from, and his neighbor Miguel sees him. He tries to talk to him. He doesn't want to be bothered, and Miguel ends up getting bullied by the bullies from his school. They pull Pepto-Bismol on top of his head and whatnot. And then Johnny's like, leave him alone. Then he goes and whoops the kids' asses. And Miguel's just like, teach me your ways. And that's how Cobra Kai starts off. D, starting with you, how did you feel when the first episode and you see Johnny, he's down on his luck, and now he has his own protege that wants to learn the way? How did you feel about all of that? Did you think that Johnny was a good enough person to be somebody's teacher? Or do you think that he should have just stayed the lone wolf that he was?
I like, me personally, one of my favorite parts of this story is just Johnny's development as a character and kind of like his path of redemption. He chooses to help Miguel kind of by coincidence, because they actually throw him into his car, and that's what actually sparks him getting up and stuff. But to Miguel, it looks like, hey, this guy is, I mean, he looks rough, but he was willing to help me. And, I love their dynamic together. And I like the path that he took, man. Trav, what about you?
Yeah, I think it's a good start of the redemption for him, because he's obviously not turning his life around anytime soon. Yeah, this is 34 years after the first movie. You know what I mean? So if he ain't turned it around in 34 years by himself, he gonna need somebody, and that somebody's Miguel.
Oh yeah.
Now it's crazy because a lot has happened in those 34 years. He has a son now named Robbie, who he really doesn't have a good relationship with. His ex, I don't know, was him and his ex, were they married, or was it just his ex-girlfriend?
Just ex-girlfriend.
Ex-girlfriend, yeah, they were together. She was a drunken mess when we're introduced to her. Yeah. She's even worse than Johnny. It's like at least Johnny, while he is in dumb, he isn't as bad as she is. Like, she doesn't even care about Robbie. It's like she brings dudes over to the house, she drinks, she comes in and
goes
she goes
on vacation,
on drugs, and it's like Robbie's just pretty much doing whatever he wants to do. It's funny how when we're introduced to Robbie and he's at the not the convenience store, he's like at a Circuit City Best Buy type place, and he ends up stealing this dude's laptop. It's like it's crazy how easy it is to do some stuff like this, because it, like, I don't know, but it's like, do you guys ever see stuff like that and just like, man, like, I wonder if I should try doing this? Like D on the anime The Great Pretender, remember when the dude, he tricked the other guy into paying for his bill at the restaurant. Remember? And it's just like, do you ever see anything like that, D, where it's just like, I wonder if I did this in real life, could I get away with it?
I mean, there's always scenarios. I think it would come, especially for people who have high charisma and things like that. You could just kind of get over on people, man. Unfortunately, you know, some people walk around with their eyes closed, as they say. Yeah, some people are gullible, you know.
That's true.
Yep.
And I mean, hey, that's why I troll people all the time. I mean,
you do.
Look how many people believe that I was in Soul, which I was in Soul.
But you were not in Soul at the same time.
I was. But you weren't.
So.
I was. Yeah, I would. All right, so Trav, moving to you, we're introduced to Miguel at Valley High School, and him walking in there, of course, he's a nerd. He doesn't have any friends, and he ends up meeting Dimitri and Hawk. I can't remember what Hawk's real name is. Is it Ethan?
I think it's Ethan. I was about to say, I don't remember until you just said it. I'm pretty sure it's Ethan, yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to look it up because it's Eli.
Eli.
Eli. Yeah.
Hey, it's like all I know is Hawk, so
Exactly.
It's just Hawk, bro.
It's just Hawk, baby.
Hawk.
So we're introduced to Dimitri and Eli, and they're nerds too. Eli, he has a scar on his face. They get bullied by the same bullies that bullied.
Well, it's not a scar.
He
has a cleft lip.
It's a scar from a surgery.
Yeah, he has a cleft lip. You don't know what a cleft lip is?
No. I know what it is. I thought it was a scar on his face.
Yeah, no, it's a cleft lip. He was born with it.
Okay, but yeah, it's like he gets picked on because of that. These guys sit at the losers table, and Miguel, he catches the eye of Daniel's daughter, right, Samantha LaRusso. And when we're introduced to Samantha, it's like I kind of feel like that she is the real villain of Cobra Kai, just like how they said that her father was, because Daniel's the one that picked on everybody in the first Karate Kid movie. So Trav, with Samantha LaRusso, how do you feel about her and people comparing her to being the villain of the Cobra Kai series?
I never heard that. That sounds ridiculous.
For real?
Dude,
yeah, it's kind of out there.
Let me explain. Well, let me explain it to you. She was dating Kyler, who was the bully that was dating Miguel. I mean, that was bullying Miguel. Sorry. Okay. And then once Miguel beats up Kyler,
right,
she ends up with Miguel. And then Miguel, he's starting to go down that dark path because he's at Cobra Kai now.
Right.
She ends up hooking up with Robbie, but it's like she doesn't tell Miguel that her and Robbie are just friends. So
right,
Miguel, he thinks that there's something going on, and then we get the season at the end of season 2 where they end up fighting in the school, and then season 3 when Robbie gets out of the juvenile detention home, he sees Miguel and Samantha together, and it's just like, whoa, I mean, we never broke up, and you got this dude all up in your house around you. So it's like some fans have said that Samantha LaRusso is the true villain of this series, and with me just saying all of that, do you still think that she's not the villain? She's just a girl going through girl.
Yeah. She's a 15-year-old girl going through life and puberty and all these things, dude. I mean, this stuff is petty, bro. Like,
yeah, that's people reaching. That's definitely people reaching. Not to cut you off, Trav. I mean, come on, dude. He was protecting her from a bully at the beginning.
Okay.
Robbie was dishonest throughout the whole story. I mean, we may cover, get more into detail. I think it's a stretch. I think people are, and when you say your imagination running wild, this is a good example.
And I got some things to say about Robbie. So.
I can't wait to hear this. But before we get into that, let's talk about Cobra Kai. So the school, it starts up. Miguel, of course, he's the first student, and they see, like, the kids at the school see what he does to the other bullies. So now they want to be trained in martial arts, and now you got all these nerds and these weaklings coming to Cobra Kai, which is different than how it was in the 80s, because in the 80s, in the 80s, you had all these tough guys, these jocks, you know what I'm saying, that was a part of Cobra Kai. When Kreese was teaching this thing back in the day, he was in the military. He served, he went to Vietnam, and he ran this thing like he was a drill sergeant.
Right.
Kreese and Johnny's teaching methods are both very different. Johnny, he's not as hard as Kreese was, because Kreese was making them do some crazy stuff. D, how do you feel about the rebirth of Cobra Kai thanks to Miguel? Do you think that it helped Cobra Kai hopefully form like a new light and be something different than the Cobra Kai of the old days? Or do you think that because Cobra Kai were always considered the bad guys, it was always gonna history was always gonna repeat itself?
Well, I mean, it's just like when you have certain sports franchises that are known for dirty play and things like that. It's hard to get those marks off of your name or your title. And the interesting thing that I love about the story overall is Miguel going in. It's funny when the major conflicts really happen, Miguel's usually not a part of the vandalism and stuff like that, and he's just kind of like in and out. And I like the way they set up, because I think what he was doing with Cobra Kai, with Johnny, it was going the right way. But then you get the elements of Kreese, and then you get the drama, you get the Robbie stuff, and it just kind of, it just beats it down. So, yep.
Same question for you, Trav.
Yeah, so originally, there's nothing wrong with Cobra Kai. The only thing that could potentially be wrong is that the bad taste that Daniel has in his mouth towards the words Cobra Kai, and of course them still just can't get over this feud that they've had for 30 years. So It isn't until Kreese comes in and tries to start taking control and start rubbing things the wrong way that, I mean, it's just him taking a bunch of squares and trying to get them to defend themselves and be cool.
Yep, exactly.
And if you think about it, man, it's like Kreese, if you can compare it to anything, Cobra Kai of the 80s was like, your old school WWF, right, where it's like, you had these huge guys, these larger than life guys in it. And now with the new Cobra Kai, Kreese comes back and he's just like, these guys aren't larger than life guys. Cause how like you've heard some interviews where like some of the older wrestlers, they say, oh, these guys are too small.
Right,
they don't look like martial artists, because it's like none of the students that come to Cobra Kai now, they don't look like martial artists. Like they look like ordinary people. You know what I'm saying? So we see in season 3 where Kreese is just like, okay, it's time to revamp Cobra Kai after he takes it over in season 2, and he's getting the best of the best. He wants the best people at Cobra Kai so he can runs it like he did back in the 80s. Now, we had some characters that didn't return for season 3, which was Nicole, right? I believe that's her name, because I forgot it last time. Nicole, I'm sorry, that's her real name. Her name on the show was Aisha. Now, Aisha, that was Samantha's friend. Again, Samantha being the villain of the series. She turned her back on her friend, Aisha, and we saw this. It's just like she didn't want to hang out with her. The other girls, like, they were making fun of her and whatnot.
And we're still talking about kids, though, going through high school, wanting to be liked stuff, dude.
Yeah, but still, you don't do that. You don't do that to your friend.
She's a child, dude.
But she's a villain. It's like, look how many problems she caused. Like, even like when her and Aisha tried to, work on their friendship, Samantha still kind of treated her like trash. And then when Aisha started hanging out with Tori, it's just like Samantha's just like, oh, well, who is this? It's like, you don't want to hang out with me anymore? You got your new friend now? It's just like, hell yeah. Like, Tori was way cooler than Samantha LaRusso.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, the chick that's stealing stuff, and she's a bad influence too, bro.
But she's a badass.
Yeah. So Branks, my question to you is, which is the lesser of two evils?
What, Tori or Samantha?
Yeah, go. Yeah, since
I'm gonna go with Tori. I'm gonna go with Tori.
Okay.
Because the reason why is because Tori, we see her upbringing in season 3, and this is something that I love about the series, is the backstories that they show on all of the characters on the show. Tori, she lives in an apartment with her brother and her mom. Her mom is sick. She's trying to do what she can to, pay the bill. So it's like, when you think about it, she has a reason for stealing. Even though it's wrong, she has a reason, compared to Samantha, who is living in this house, living the life of luxury with her father, Daniel, who we really haven't got to, but I want to go ahead and start talking about him now. Daniel, in the first season, like, he's a dick. You know what I'm saying? And I understand why he became like that, because his head got big. You know, he won the martial arts tournament back in the first Karate Kid movie. Then in the second one, he won it twice. Then he went to Japan. Then he had the thing with Silver and the Karate Kid 3. So it's like Daniel's head just blew up. And, you know, he was this car owner to this dealership. He was making mad money. Everybody knew who Daniel LaRusso was. So when they had mentioned that he was the villain of the Karate Kid in this season, it really made me start thinking that, like now I see where Samantha gets it from, why she is the way that she is. So starting with you, D, how did you feel about seeing Daniel when we were introduced to him in the first season? Did you think that he was gonna eventually change his ways, or do you think that he was right to be acting the way that he was?
Well, that's the thing with stories. They say there's always two sides to it. And Daniel, they did bully him, but I mean, people perceived him, you know, Johnny perceived him, hey, he's moving in on my girl from way back in the day. And that's bad blood anyway. And then, you know, having them be rivals. But I mean, you know, the story at some point he's gonna progress, and he's gonna have a story arc where he learns his lesson at some point. And I like the way they chose to tell it, because I mean, when he starts off, he's basically like not a cutthroat car salesman, but a very arrogant, big-headed car salesman. You know, he is a two-time champ. He lives in the town where he won the tournaments, you know, and it's just, he has everything you could ever ask for, so he thinks. And, yeah, I like the lesson that he has to learn. And yeah, he was a dick at the beginning to get to that. Trav?
Yeah, well, so it's always been amongst the fans when this launched that Daniel was the real bully of the original. And come season 3, they actually made it canon. You know, they actually talked about it in the show.
Yep.
But I guess it's just how you perceive things. Yeah, he's kind of a douche. You know, because again, he's successful. And that's kind of like what happens when everything is going right in life. You know what I mean? You gotta become a douche.
Yep.
But
you feel like you're invincible.
Johnny's still a douche too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, but he's honest though. That's the thing. He knows who he is, and I think that's the difference.
He drew that ding-a-ling on the billboard.
Yeah. That ding-a-ling.
And don't forget about the other car salesman sending all those sausages over there on the same day. That's pretty funny. Oh man,
I didn't order any sausages. But I mean, you know, I love how both of y'all bring up Johnny and Daniel's relationship. That's something that I love about the series, is how from all the way from the Karate Kid to now, their relationship has always been edgy. It's always been the source of turmoil when it comes to them going on double dates or their kids being around one another, you know. And I love in season 3 where Daniel's just like, Johnny, we need to find Robbie so that way we can help him out. Let's work together. And they end up going to this car garage and they take on this group of mechanics.
They're boosters, bro.
Yeah, and it's like, it was just so awesome seeing them work together. Like it really reminded me of some Double Dragon type stuff, like with the music playing and everything. And then of course, Johnny getting mad because Johnny, he's the hot-headed, arrogant one, and Daniel's just like, hey, like these are just guys, like they don't know what's going on. Starting with you, Trav, like how do you feel about the relationship between the two of them from season 1 until right now in season 3?
Bro, they always have them come together for some common cause. They kind of get along, but they argue the whole time that it's happening. And then something happens, like you think they're about to get there and become friends, something happens. You know what I mean? And then now they hate each other again. And then they start to kind of work towards something else happens that they got to team up. And it's like, man, this guy's not so bad. And then something happens and they hate each other again. And it was cool that didn't happen in season 3, you know, towards the end, where now they're teaming up to take on Kreese.
Yes.
But what are we going to get in season 4? Something's going to happen. I know something's going to happen to cause a rift between the two. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm excited to find out, bro.
Yeah, I agree with you. Same question for you, D.
Oh, yeah, man. This is what I was waiting on. You guys, I'm going to remind y'all of a couple pairs of characters throughout the ages. Terry Bogard, Andy Bogard, Ryu, Ken, Bakugo, Deku. They have that chemistry that you need. The one that I like to relate these guys to, because they are martial artists, is the Ryu Ken specifically. Right. Like Ken's more of a hothead. He's not quite as talented or has the techniques that Ryu is, but he keeps up for the most part. Then Ryu's more of the level-headed one, and it just seems very coincidental, I guess, that's how they kind of come off to me, and it's fun. I don't necessarily think there'll be another rift, but I think now where we are in the story, depending on how long they choose to keep it going, I think it's going to be about them learning to teach together and work together from here on out. I think the rifts are behind them, and they're going to learn to deal with them more consistently together moving forward.
But can they? Or are their egos too big?
I think
that's always the question.
I think they can, and D, I agree with you on that, because Daniel, he saved Johnny's life pretty much at the end of season 3 when Kreese was about to take him out.
Right.
And it was such a fun and good, feel-good moment when the music is playing, and then we see Johnny walk out, we see Daniel walk out, both the schools, because Kreese owns Cobra Kai now, Johnny ended up starting his own school called Eagle Fang. And now Eagle Fang and Eagle Fang and Miyagi-Do, they've come together. They got 2 senseis now. It's like everybody put their differences aside, and I'm all for it. Same thing with one of the biggest comebacks of season 3 was my boy Eli coming back to the side of good. My boy Hawks.
Baby.
It's like I understood Hawk's frustration. Yeah. One of the things I love about this series is the backstories that they show for all of the characters, and just to see Hawks and like how he was picked on and how people used to joke him because of what he had on his face, and then him finally going to Cobra Kai and getting picked on by Johnny bad enough that it changed him into becoming Hawks. Now, while he did, become the badass that he always wanted to be, he started becoming the bully that he always hated. You know what I'm saying? And when he did become the bully, he was getting the girls. Everybody thought he was cool, but because of this, he was hurting the friendship that he had with his best friend, Dimitri. Now, Dimitri is another one in season 3 where it's like, I was happy to see him, finally get that come up. Like, it's like he was still a nerd, but now he was getting the girls. Like him and Hawks, they ended up fighting in season 2. He hit Hawks with that spinning kick. Hawks went through the glass where all the trophies were and whatnot. And it's like, I was happy for Dimitri. Like, somebody on Facebook said that they didn't like Dimitri because he was acting less of a nerd. And I'm just like, man, Dimitri, he's been a nerd since the first season. It's like he finally had his come up. So, Trav, starting with you, like, how do you feel about the relationships on the show with Dimitri and Hawks?
Yeah, I mean, it's not even just Dimitri and Hawk. I mean, because there's always some sort of entanglement going on between multiple characters at the same time. Because Dimitri and Hawk, they're best friends. Here comes Miguel into the clique. Then they kind of go their own way. Now you got Miguel and Dimitri. They're clicked up. And then as time goes on, they all three kind of hate each other. And then now we got Ethan back, or Hawk. Hawk is back with Dimitri. Eli. He's back with Dimitri. And now all three of them are together again. The clique returns.
There we go. D, same question for you.
I like the dynamic, friends turned rivals, and then you introduce Miguel and things. Hawk, the thing that I like about him, I like a lot of the characters, if not all of them, their dynamics on the show. Like Hawk, per se, he's basically becoming the bully that he hated, like you stated, but then it kind of goes further, and he doesn't know. It seems like he's getting his perception is becoming skewed. He doesn't know when he's going too far, and he finds himself second guessing himself. And then he's basically trying to be something for a long time that he knows that he isn't, just to be cool and be liked. But I mean, that's the problem with bullying in general. He even pushes away Dimitri, and these guys are best friends for, I assume years. it's he even breaks the kid's arm, and that's brutal. So it's just very interesting. It was a tearjerker moment for me to see him come back and help him. It shows growth, when you're willing to face your demons and go back,
Yeah, but see, I feel that the reason why Hawks was the way that he was is because, as we saw, when Kreese came back to teach at Cobra Kai, Kreese was pretty much pushing that negative them negative vibes on people. You know what I'm saying? Like saying like, yo, this is what Cobra Kai is supposed to be, because Kreese didn't like the way that Johnny was teaching. Like Johnny, he still taught the old ways of Cobra Kai, but he wasn't as ruthless as Kreese was. And when Kreese comes around, he's just like, yo, you need to do this. You need to go over to Mr. Miyagi's place, mess up their cars, do all this stuff. And I feel like Trav has mentioned where it's like, because they are all teenagers and then they're being peer pressured and whatnot, this is the reason why they do the things that they do. But I'm happy that Hawks had that wake-up call in season 3 where he's just like, okay, what we're doing is wrong. Like, we signed up for martial arts so that way we could be cool, we could protect ourselves, and we would stop getting bullied. But it's like now we're the bullies. So
exactly.
I'm just happy. Oh, go ahead.
No, not to cut you off. I definitely understand what you're saying, and it was just kind of like he was the one that was, besides him or Tori, the two of them are like the most at risk. Now you get Robbie involved later on in it, but and Kreese sees that in them, the vulnerabilities, and he basically preys on it, and then that's how Hawk gets basically wrapped up further. He goes further down the rabbit hole, as they say, and he wants to do anything to impress this guy, and that's it. It proves dangerous, and he starts to see it and wake up finally.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. So the thing in season 3 that I like is how we get the backstory on Kreese, and how we were just talking about how, he preyed on the students and whatnot to get towards their insecurities and whatnot, to use them for his own personal gain. We see Kreese's backstory back in the 1960s. He's a busboy at a diner, and we find out that his mother, she committed suicide. He is getting picked on by this jock, and it's crazy because when the jock first came into the diner, I thought that the jock was Kreese.
I think they did that on purpose, bro, because I did too.
And it's like, for all this time, I thought that Kreese had always been this badass, and then we just see like he was just a busboy at a diner, but he knew how to fight. And like he said, when he fought the jock in the alleyway who was being disrespectful to his girlfriend, I've been fighting my entire life. He gave me them Steve Rogers vibes when he said that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, because he grew up in bad neighborhoods.
Yeah, exactly. And he had to learn how to fight. So he ends up winning the girl. He ends up going over to Vietnam, where we see what he does over there. Like, he's still learning to be the John Kreese that we all know and hate. And we're introduced to some of his friends. We see your boy, a younger John Silver. Is it John Silver or Terry Silver?
Terry Silver.
Yeah, Terry Silver. Yeah, we see a young Terry Silver, and Kreese's commanding officer. He's a martial artist, and he's just like, if you're over here and you're fighting and everything, you have to give it your all. You can't have any distractions. And we come to find out that the girl that Kreese was with, she ended up dying in a car accident.
Right.
And Kreese, because,
or at least that's what they said.
That's what I'm assuming happened, man.
No. Like, I'm saying, I felt like when that was announced, because he found out, because his commander said that they got letters and he kept them from him because he didn't want to change his mind or whatever. But he told him this as they were going to fight to the death, and I feel like it might be a lie because he wanted to shake him up and rattle him to get him off his game.
I can agree with that.
And I felt like that.
I can see that too. Like Trav was saying, it's like they're about to fight to the death because they went on this mission where they had went to this base that they were going to destroy, but Kreese, he didn't make the decision because he didn't want his friend to get killed. So they all end up getting captured. Now the soldiers have them fighting each other over a Cobra pit, and I was just like, so this is where we get the Cobra Kai stuff from.
Well, it was a pit full of random snakes. It looked like.
I'm just gonna say
Cobra pit.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say it's a Cobra pit. And,
Hey, the Cobra pit sounds way cooler. Let's roll with it.
yeah.
The random snake pit.
Yeah, so we got the Cobra pit. Him and his commanding officer, they're fighting over it, and then America comes swooping in to save the day. And Kreese, he ends up killing his commanding officer.
Right.
And this is where we get the strike hard, hit hard,
Right.
no mercy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Hey, hold on. Before we go past that, though, his commanding officer, did he give you the commanding officer in Avatar vibes?
Yeah.
I've never seen Avatar.
Oh, okay. D?
Trav, you already knew he can see it.
I can't.
He said you already knew this.
You already knew.
He's too busy watching. He's too busy watching them other movies.
Yeah, like JoJo, over and over
Hey,
again.
I'd rather watch JoJo than One Piece is all I'm
Just
saying.
take it easy.
Oh, hey,
But
I'm
yeah, he
glad.
does.
He does, bro.
Yeah, he did actually. Yep.
So, Trav, like, how did you feel after seeing Kreese's backstory? Like, did you feel bad for him knowing, you know, the man that he used to become? Or is it just like, man, this dude, he's evil?
Yeah,
Like, I hate this guy.
I don't necessarily feel bad for him because, like I said, he's always been an evil guy.
Yeah.
Something happened in him when they got taken prisoner. And again, that's a scary, scary, scary. I can't even describe the fear that's got to go through you to be captured in war and then fight to the death and all this stuff. So
Well, you got to remember too, Trav. They shot their first friend. They
Right,
shot him in the head when they caught him.
Yep.
yeah,
So you know you're rattled right there, bro.
yeah, we're talking about horrific events, bro.
Yeah.
So I could see some of the things in life that he's been through that could change a person, sometimes for the worse, and obviously did for him. I don't feel bad for him though now. I mean, dude, see a shrink, bro. You got to get past. You got to get past these things in life, man. He needs to see a damn counselor.
Get some meds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's out here living on the edge every day just because he wants to.
Yeah,
It's kind of scary, bro.
Same question for you, D. How did you feel about it?
It's just I don't feel bad for him, bro, because he's done to people like 50 times over what was done to him. I mean, he's out here influencing kids to crush other kids, bro, and that's brutal. So I get it. I mean, tough luck. You should be on meds, Kreese, but you get no love from me, no sympathy. No sympathy.
Okay, I can see that. So moving along, I want to talk about when Daniel goes to the land of the rising sun. He heads over to Japan after something happens where his competitor is pretty much taking all of the Japanese imports, and they're only going to be coming to his dealership, and they're not going to LaRusso's dealership anymore. So he heads over there to Doyana, and Doyana's just like, we don't want to do business with you anymore. So while he's there, he ends up seeing his love interest from the second movie, Kumiko, and they catch up and whatnot, and they're having a good time. And then his rival from the second movie, Chosen, he shows up. It's like Daniel sitting in the bar with Kumiko, and Chosen's just sitting there giving him that stink eye,
Yeah,
like,
no.
yo, like, it's about to go down. And then he bows to him, and it's like he tells him that you're a master and my master, we're all a part of this big family and whatnot. And then they end up having a sparring match, and they become friends, and he shows Daniel a technique through Miyagi-Do where you target pressure points, so that way you can still use offensive maneuvers while you're doing, you know, Mr. Miyagi's techniques. I always get it mixed up. Like, is it called Miyagi-Do, or is it just Miyagi martial arts?
No, it's called Miyagi-Do.
Okay, it is. Okay. So, like, how did you guys feel about, like, the whole trip to Japan, seeing, you know, Daniel finally, you know, getting those feelings that he still has for Mr. Miyagi, learning more about him and whatnot? Because it's like, I feel like this trip really helped Daniel out. Like, he really needed it to kind of get his eye of the tiger back. And that's what I compare season 3 to. I compare it to Rocky 3, because it just seems like everybody in this season is getting their eye of the tiger. Starting with you, D, how did you feel about the Japanese trip?
I liked it a lot. The actress playing Kimiko, I know her from the Teen Wolf TV show.
Right.
She plays a kitsune up there, which is pretty badass. And but it was fun to see all. It's like a walk down memory lane from season 1 all the way through season 3, and it's cool to see Daniel find out that he doesn't like. This is part of his journey. He has to know that he doesn't know everything, and that sometimes in life he too is going to need to lean on somebody. He's so used to having the answers and being the champ, and now it's like, what do you do when you find out there's somebody better than you, or there's still lessons for you to learn. So I love the growth moment, the sparring scene. I love I love it. I love the trip, man. I thought it was fun. Trav?
Yeah, no, I agree, bro. I like how he gets to the village, and the village is now a shopping center. You really see that. I think it would have been lame if he shows up and it's still the same village as it was 30 years ago. You get to see the evolution of people and what they've been through, and get the story of, like, they went through hard times where they couldn't make any money. That they couldn't sell their crops, so they did the best thing they could do, and that's get with the times and build this village that they got. And yeah, man, it was so cool seeing him and Chosen go at it. And then the fact that he had like secret scrolls from the Miyagi past and gave him the scroll at the end, for his trip, which they never show you what's in that scroll yet. And I think that'll come to light later on. I think they purposely chose not to show us what was in that scroll.
They chose
not to show what's in that scroll, man.
The whole adventure over there, it was just cool. And then, at the end, we see Yuna, who was a character in the Karate Kid 2.
Little girl.
And that was the little girl that Daniel saved from the tsunami that was coming in the Karate Kid 2?
Yeah, I think it was a tsunami.
It was a tsunami.
Yeah. But it wasn't just a tsunami. They were also put in the bad spot because of Chosen and his master. Yeah. And they tried to kill them. Like, bro, that Karate Kid movie, it's not just fighting and fighting.
Dark.
It's dark. Yeah.
It's dark. Yeah. That's why the Karate Kid 3, they had to make it lighter, and then we get to the next Karate Kid and it's even lighter. But yeah, it's like, it was cool seeing Yuna. This is something that the series does by bringing back former characters from the series, and I love that the characters that they bring back are the same actors that played these characters. And Yuna, she's the vice president of sales for Toyana, and she's like, hey, you saved my life back in the day. I'm going to help you out. You don't have to worry about sales. We're still going to send cars to you. Daniel leaves Japan. He has the new techniques. He has the new moves, which he uses in order to beat Kreese, because I believe this is the first time that him and Kreese
have ever fought
each other. And this is something that has been building up since Kreese came back at the end of the first season.
Remember, his wife got licks on Kreese before he did.
Yeah, Amanda, she smacked the hell out of him.
She don't want to hear
Kreese, and Kreese went to the police and pressed charges on her. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I was happy about Daniel finally getting his eye to Tiger. Same with Johnny helping Miguel, because that fall at the end of season 2, like, I remember when I was watching it, my jaw dropped when Robbie kicked him off of the balcony. And it's crazy because Miguel, he stopped fighting. He tried to help Robbie up, and then Robbie, he went in for the kill. He struck first and he hit hard, no mercy. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because Robbie was on such a good path where he was learning the right ways to doing stuff, and Daniel was helping him out a lot. That's the reason why Daniel was like, Robbie can be redeemed after what he did, even though it was messed up because Miguel got kicked off the second story balcony. Like, that was crazy, man. And it's also crazy that that's how the series ended. Like, if Netflix would have never picked this show up, that's how Cobra Kai would have ended, with Miguel in the hospital.
And Robbie on the run.
So let's get it more into Robbie. Trav, I know that you said that you had a lot to say about him, so take the floor, King.
Bro, let me tell you something. Robbie, man, this dude is what Johnny called that lady in the first episode to get him
a B word.
Bro, he's a B word. This dude is the biggest baby. All he does is whine about woe is me. And people turn their back on me, and you should feel sorry for me, and get out of here with that nonsense, bro. All these kids is going through stuff. His life was, crummy and crappy. Obviously he had no parental figures of any kind.
Yep.
He had no role models. But it's like, Daniel then takes you in, bro, and gives you a home, gives you food, gives you a role model, gives you all these things, and you still whining, bro. It's like, you just need to accept that this is what it used to be, and this is what it can be, and make changes for the better. And even when he sees Miguel and Samantha, right?
Yep.
Even when he sees Miguel and Samantha, about the kiss, and he's throwing his little temper tantrum, bro, you got locked up for how long? And you can say that we don't know if they broke up. I mean, you can say they didn't break up, but we don't know if they didn't, because she reached out to him multiple times. He never wrote back. He didn't
respond back.
To me, that's my answer. That's my answer right there from Samantha. So F that dude, man. So, hey, it's time for me to move on. He happens to catch them in a bad spot. And again, he's like, oh man, my life. And he runs off, goes gets a little hug from Kreese, and, starts fighting with Kreese. And it's like, man, you trash, bro. Robbie's the trash in this show, in my opinion.
Now, see, I'll say that when I see Robbie with Kreese, and then you have Johnny trying to save him, I really got Star Wars vibes from that.
Yeah.
But it's like Robbie is Luke, Kreese is Darth Sidious, and Johnny, he's Darth Vader.
Darth Vader, yeah.
And it's like, he fights his master to try and save his son, but instead Robbie ends up running into the locker. And what I thought was cool about that fight was that Johnny was just like, you're my son, I'm not gonna hurt you. And he was kind of doing some Miyagi-Do techniques where it's like he was just dodging everything. He was on the defensive the entire time. And the only time that he went on the offensive was when he moved out of the way to shove Robbie, and Robbie ends up running into the locker. And then we get Kreese that takes a sucker punch to Johnny, and before he can kill him or hurt him permanently, Daniel comes and saves him. And it was just a sweet moment just to see that. Overall, this series is so sweet. It's so good. It's like it's the only show on Netflix where it's like, when I started watching it, like I watched the entire thing like in one day. Season 1, I finished it in one day. Season 2, the only reason why I didn't finish it in one day is because I finished season 1 at like 2 in-the-morning, and I want to say I got 5 episodes into season 2, and I was just like, I got to go to work in a couple of hours. I can't stay up longer.
Yeah, I was in the same boat, Banks. Such a good show. So easy to watch.
Moving forward, starting with you, D, what are your expectations for season 4?
I'm going to go into the characters that we really didn't get a chance to talk a lot about, which would be Tori is one, the main one we didn't really cover. I see her dynamic changing a little bit and finding a way over to the other side as well. I want Miguel to continue to grow, because now Miguel is kind of in a boat where he'll know both sides of it better than anybody else. Him and Sam will. Yeah. Well, I guess Robbie's in that boat too, because he's training with Kreese now. So it's going to be interesting to see how their techniques develop. And like I said, Terry Silver, I still think he's a big question mark. I think he'll come in. I just wanted to keep the show rolling, man. I think that it's cool the way almost every character in the show develops in one way or another. Nobody is like a flat character. They all change. Most of the bad ones turn good. Even Kreese picked up a couple thugs, the kids from the beginning. Well, one of them. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with it. What about you, Trav?
Hold on, before Trav answers that, D, I had liked what you had brought up about everybody having 3 separate teachers. It kind of reminded me, it kind of gave me Naruto vibes, how you had Jiraiya, Orochimaru, and Tsunade. And it's like, you have these 3 teachers, and it's like they're passing on their techniques to the next generation. With Kreese, I feel like his techniques are a lot more deadlier than Johnny. So Robbie, now he's going to have the Miyagi-Do techniques and he's going to have the Cobra Kai techniques.
Yep.
Whereas with Miguel and Sam, they're going to have more of the lighter Cobra Kai techniques that aren't so fatal compared to the new Cobra Kai techniques. Yeah. That's all I wanted to say.
Good point. But on that, do you guys think that Kreese is going to unveil some sort of secret Cobra Kai technique next?
Oh, for sure.
Robbie?
Yeah, for sure. Once, like you said, when Terry Silver comes in, like something is going to happen, because you got to look at it like this. It's like it's two of them, and Kreese needs backup, so he's bringing in his boy, and now we're gonna have 2-on-2. I can see there being a fight because I know Daniel, he fought Terry in the Karate Kid 3, so we're gonna see Johnny versus Terry in season 4. That's what I see happening.
All right.
But Trav, same question to you. Go ahead.
Now, that's definitely Terry on the phone that Kreese is calling. There's no doubt in my mind. I think most people feel that way. So, yeah, and you noticed in season 3, the fights got more badass. They're fighting through the house. It's a big group fight.
Oh, man.
I'm expecting them to take it to the next level in season 4. And like you're saying, I could see some double fights where they're fighting and then they switch off, like they switch to the next guy's stuff. Kind of like some, if you ever seen like
they kind of did. Yeah, they kind of did something like that. I was gonna bring that up. I'm glad you pointed at it, Trav. The hallway fight scenes. That's what they do in the Daredevil Netflix series.
Yeah.
There's a few scenes like that where he's in and out of rooms and he's fighting groups of people. So yeah, interesting.
Yeah. I don't remember what the question was.
Oh no, you were going on the right path. You were talking about Terry Silver and then the fights and everything.
Yeah.
Season 4 moving forward.
I think there's like you just said, I think there's a hidden technique that is like the kill shot.
Yeah.
That we're gonna
see
what
I'm thinking.
Unleashed. Somebody's gonna get hurt this season, even worse than Miguel. I think they take it to the next level. I think it's gonna get darker, because I think every season's gotten darker, storyline wise. I think I could see somebody getting killed this next season, some sort of huge tragedy. Honestly, I could see what's her name? Homegirl. Tori being the one to go.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? Something wild happening.
That's interesting.
And seeing where it goes, it seems like, though, no matter what they do, no cops ever get involved. I mean, they broke and entered.
It's true.
They fought through the house, destroyed it. Nobody went to jail. Nothing, bro.
Yeah. No, Robbie went to jail.
That's what I was about to say. Like, it seems like
he's on parole.
Robbie went to juvie for a couple months for breaking a kid's back in half. Okay.
But I get what you're saying. Where it's like the only time we do see the cops is when they come to arrest Robbie, and when Johnny gets the cops called on him by the guys at the bar because he breaks the guy's window on his car. But other than that, it's like we didn't see any cops at the school. Nobody got arrested. You know what I'm saying?
If that happened in a school in real life, you'd be on lockdown, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
But you got to think about Robbie's situation. He went on the run, and they got him to turn himself in, and they're minors. So at the end of the day, if they said, "Hey, this kid's the one that pushed him over the balcony or whatever," they're not going to press anybody else.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
I mean, but everybody was bloodied up, so I don't know how you explain that. And then she had to get stitches. I don't know.
Nobody was expelled. Nothing. They just went to school.
They just had a meeting in the auditorium and said, "Hey guys, we're gonna hug it out from here on out. No martial arts," because it's like martial arts pretty much became it was gang related at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you were either with Cobra Kai or you were with Miyagi-Do.
Yeah.
And what I'm looking forward to in season 4 is this big martial arts tournament that we're gonna have.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is the place where everything is gonna go down at. And people are going to be running out of the building. You're going to have all of the students fighting each other, Miyagi-Do versus Cobra Kai. And I mean, we've already had Daniel I'm assuming that we're going to get another rematch between Daniel and Kreese, because like I already said, I see Terry and Johnny fighting each other. We're going to see Miguel versus Robbie again, and we're going to see Samantha versus Tori. I'm trying to think, like, who are we gonna see Dimitri and Hawk face? Oh, I'm guessing Kyler's gonna be one of them,
Right?
And then somebody else, and I'm mad that we didn't even mention this, but our boy Trav, who was Stingray,
and he didn't appear in this season.
It's like Trav, like, why didn't they have you in the season, man? Like, what happened?
Well, maybe he's no longer acting, because I mean that's really why her friend wasn't in the show anymore. Aisha.
Well, I mean, she had some stuff that happened outside. You know,
but she put acting on hold, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, she had some unfortunate mishaps happen to her, so like that's the reason why she didn't appear on season 3. But hopefully she returns for season 4, because I did enjoy her character in season 1, and I kind of feel like as season 2 went on, it's like she was kind of like an afterthought. Same thing with their son, with Daniel's son. I was surprised to see him in season 3. Like, I wasn't expecting him to come back, and he makes a small cameo, and that's pretty much it. So with that being said, thank you everybody for checking out this video review and episode on Cobra Kai. I was about to call it Karate Kai. On Cobra Kai. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and follow this video. And also, if you're listening to this episode on our podcast, make sure that you follow all of the Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks social media accounts at Leveling Up Banks. That's on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And before your boys get up out of here, Trav, tell them where they can find you at in social media land.
Well, you know, you got your boy Trav over here, the Trash Man, at ZK Audio on Instagram.com, as D likes to say. Instagram.com.
Right. You know, I'm rebellious _D23. You know, y'all keep looking for me if you're looking for me.
Hey, I'm glad that you said the double underscore.
Yeah, man.
It's not underscore.
Like they used to call our boy Michael, double O.
Double O.
Thanks, take it away.
And you can find me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, at KingBenji_Banks on Twitter and Instagram. And I'm on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. All you gotta do is type in Benjamin Banks, and I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. I already told y'all where y'all can find us at in social media land. Again, thank you for listening to this new episode. We'll see you next week. Stay safe, and remember to always keep your pinkies up. Trav, I said pinkies up. I don't know what that was.
Hey, that's my thing right here, bro. See ya.
That's why
he hit you.
Hey, I hit you with that John Cena.
That's why
that John Cena.
So, we'll see you guys next week. Thank you for listening to the episode. Peace.
Be sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed this video and get notified every time we upload a new one by subscribing and ticking the bell icon. You can also listen to the full episode by searching for Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks on your favorite podcast app. If you'd like to help support more great content like this, be sure to check us out on Patreon. We'll have the link posted in the description below. Thanks for listening, and see you on the next episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks.